This world is saturated with Adalomi. At the head of the Baikomachi Adol group, there is a 16-year-old girl named AI. They have been around for 4 years, and the public has finally recognized them. In a patient's room, their performance is being watched by Dr. Goru Amemiya. He is visited by a nurse who shows him the news that AI is taking a break due to illness. The nurse remarks that it's not normal to be so worried and watching a little girl, but he has his own reason. When the doctor was still practicing, one of his patients was a girl who admired the purple-haired girl and wanted to become her. But it was not destined to come true, she died because of illness. And since that time, the doc has been watching the star. The break is over and the doctor returns to his work. He had a patient of 16 years old, who grew up in an orphanage, who is now pregnant. As it turns out, it's AI. After the examination, it is revealed that she is going to have twins. On the roof of the hospital, Goru is chatting with Hoshino. He asks if she's going to stay an idol. She replies that she didn't have a family, so if twins are born they'll have a fun family and it's not a problem to hide the children. The happiness of being an idol and being a mother is what she wants. Amemiya promises that she will do everything to make sure her children are born healthy. Here comes the 40th week, the week of labor. In the evening, walking along the road, the doctor meets a man who knows that he treats AI. He also starts asking him questions, but the unknown person runs away and the chase begins. Reaching the edge of the mountain, the doc is pushed off it. And he dies. But he is reborn in the body of a child of a star girl and his name is Aquamarine. And his sister is Ruby. AI's director, Ichigo Saito, says today is the day she returns to show business and her first concert is tonight. His wife Miyako will be staying with her children. The concert is about to start and the people in charge of the on-air component start preparing and setting everything up. At this time, the reborn adult turns on the TV. As it turns out, the people in charge of the airwaves don't care about the band or the idols, they don't even know who they are, they just care about the numbers. So the show starts, the little one watches it all and his sister joins him, who also turned out to be reborn. He found out at night when she started arguing with her mom's haters on the internet. The next day, AI, after feeding her children, goes out with her principal to run errands. And Miyako is left in charge again. The lady is not happy that she has to take care of the kids, and she decides to sell the information about Adol's pregnancy to the press. The Melky adults decide to help their mom. They come up with a story related to God and that it's not all for nothing. If she helps with the kids, she'll marry a handsome man in the future. The woman calms down. At night the doc remembers his patient, he says the name Serena, and his sister responds. As it turns out, it is a girl reborn patient of the doctor, but they do not realize it. It's been a few months since the band returned, but they haven't regained their former popularity yet. AI doesn't like it, for there is little money coming in, and she wants to give her children the best. The concert is about to start. Miyako has brought the little ones at their request. During the performance, the purple-haired girl thinks about the negative commentary on her, but when she sees her children, she thinks about the negative commentary on her own. Of the kids who support her, she's very happy. Upon arrival, it turns out that the little ones hit the internet, but no one guessed that they were AI's children. The two children are now grown up and the star has finally started gaining her former popularity, and today's work may cement her status. The company arrived on the set. Suddenly Aquamarine is talking to the director, who learns about the 3 kinds of people in the business: stars who show off in public, talents who maintain quality, and newcomers. In the evening, the family waits for the star to appear on the program, but in the end there was only a small scene. Aqua contacts the director. As it turns out, AI turned out to be too cute on screen, and those in charge at the studio wanted to promote the new star. The brown-haired one wants to offer the job to the purple-haired one, but on the condition that the gifted kid will also star. Of course the petite one agrees. On set, the kids meet another Arima Kano kid. During the process, the doctor plays flawlessly that the other actress got goosebumps, but Kano did not like that she played worse than the boy. In the evening, the director explains the important aspects for a good actor. The movie was made and got good reviews, because of which AI started getting even more offers for filming. The children have already started kindergarten. There will be a party in their kindergarten and all the parents will come to see their sons and daughters dancing. Ruby does not like it, for she has never been able to dance and does not know how to dance. In the hall, the girl tries to perform at least some movements, as suddenly her mother comes in and rehearses. Thanks to her family, Ruby finally finds the ability to move like her significant other. One day the starry-eyed girl calls up the father of their shared children. In the evening, the director and everyone celebrates going into the arena of Doma, for there is no just getting there. During this, AI remembers the past, like when the director called her to be the main idol in the group. The next day turns out to be Crash. AI is stabbed by a fan who thought she betrayed her fans by having children. She repents to him and runs away. In the last seconds of her life she says that she loves her children and goes to the other world. The information about the murder spreads fleetingly. It turns out that the killer may have an accomplice, and after his deed, he himself left this world. 3 days later, all was forgotten. The children were neglected, for the director and his wife had taken custody of them. In the car, Aqua pondered on the killer, and as he learned, it all came down to one thing: their father. Now he has a target. Doc asks the director to become his guardian. After a while, the kids are off to school. Hoshino Ruby will finally be able to join an idol group. She is very excited about it, but her brother explains to her that the world of show business is very cruel and she needs to not take it so easily. Aqua has changed since his mom died. He hasn't smiled since then. Ichigo couldn't run the company, causing Miyako to take over. Baikomachi broke up after 2 years, and the company now doesn't work with idols and develops with internet talent. Blondie got the result from the audition. Unfortunately she didn't pass. It turns out that it was Aquamarine who set it all up, because he won't let her become an idol. The next day Ru is offered a job, and she's very happy about it. Her brother again thinks about how he can get out of this situation. Doc decides to invite a girl from Irobo to find out what's going on there. He pretends to be Strobra's agent. They get all the information they need. The blonde man will not allow his sister to become an idol, at least not with an unreliable company. Miyako loves Ruby very much, so she decides to offer her a job in their company, for they are going to start a new group for the first time in 10 years. So much for signing a contract. Aquamarine comes to the director's house. As it turns out, he helps him with his projects and he is his apprentice. When the old man took him under his tutelage, the kid's eyes were burning to become an actor, but for him it's just a means to an end. To find his father. They have a dialogue in which Aqua says he doesn't have the talent like his sister inherited from AI and wants to work in the shadows. The director tells him that AI can't become him and he can't become her. It's too early to ruin his dreams. Here comes the time to enter high school. Both Hoshins walk through, and in the hallway they see Arima Kano. She thinks the kid is entering performing arts, but the kid is entering general education. Aqua goes to the director's office, but Arima follows him. She tries to get close to him by inviting him to different places. Our hero decides to kill 2 birds at the same time. He brings Kano to his teacher. During a meal, Crimson-haired invites to the filming of a series where she is in the lead role. Sweet today. Blonde does not agree. At the same time he knows about the existence of the series. As he hears the name of the director, Kaburaji Masaya, he immediately remembers. After AI died, for 4 whole years, Doc hacked into his mom's phone and the man's name was there. Of course consent was not long in coming. At home, Miyako tells Ruby that finally her brother is going to star somewhere. As it turns out, the series was based on the manga that Blue-Eyed has in his room. His role is the villain from the middle of the piece. After watching a couple minutes, it turns out the series is pretty bad. After meeting with Kano, she explains to Aqua the purpose of it all. To promote the models, and she was invited because she's good at acting. After talking, it turns out that Arima has learned how to negotiate. She lost everything in her time, so she learned. Blondin decides to help the girl, to improve the production of this misunderstanding. Here comes the beginning of the rehearsal. Doc meets one of the main characters of the series, Narushi Mamio. This character has not yet grown up. Here comes the director of everything, Kaburaji. Having rehearsed the scene, the crimson-eyed woman approaches our hero and once again tells him that he can act. He thinks to himself that it all seems to her, for as a child his acting was good because of his consciousness. She tries to support him, as she is responsible for the condition of the actors. Kano tries her best, for she has gotten the lead role for the first time in 10 years. Aqua says that he really hasn't seen her in a long time and thought she was out of work already. The girl really couldn't find a job for a long time, but she still tried hard and finally her skills were recognized. Masai talks to one of the staff, and as it turns out, she was hired not because of her talent, but because the show needed to attract some attention and she could be hired for nothing. They are not interested in the game, they just want to promote their misunderstanding. At this time Aquamarine was eavesdropping on them. After the adults had finished smoking, the young one took the butts for the DNK test. Since the blonde is here, he'll give it his best shot. The filming begins. During them, Kano reveals that her career ended back in middle school, but she was finally called for the lead role. She knows very well that the series is a failure. The first episodes are out and the work is considered a failure, but the scene of the stalker and the main characters colliding, and she will try to make the scene better. Unfortunately, the handsome man only spoils the production. It seems that everything will fail again, but Aqua appears. Even though he doesn't have the same talent as AI. So he uses everything on the set. Bloden plays flawlessly, all for Arima. Here comes the climax where the main character cries. Even though the doc went overboard with the original script, the worker was ready for this. We are shown the author of the manga crying from this scene. Although the series did not gain much popularity, but after the last series in narrow circles it became famous. At the Sweet Today party, the actors meet the author of the manga, who thanks the girl. The director of the series communicates with Aqua, as it turns out he is not their father with Ruby. During the conversation it turns out that Kaburaji worked with AI, introduced him to partners and suggested restaurants. Aqua is interested in the details. In response, the director asks for a favor, that our hero went to a reality dating show. It's the first day of high school. The crimson-haired girl tells us who, what, and how here. Ruby meets model Katabuki Minami in her class. Her sister introduces her to her brother, but he doesn't seem too interested, since he's not here for friendship. The blue-eyed man explains that although there are a lot of famous people here, he hasn't seen anyone on TV. Ruby explains that there is still Shiranui Frill, a very beautiful girl who is widely known. For a blonde girl, she's number one. Bro explains that for him forever AI is number one. Suddenly, the company meets Shiranui. Approaching her, it turns out that she knows Aqua and compliments her, also knows the pink-haired girl, but Ruby doesn't. Starry-eyed asks Miyako to make her an idol as soon as possible. It can't be done just like that, unfortunately. Doc suggests Arima Kano for a spot as a member in the Baikomachi group. Ruby, after analyzing the crimson-haired girl, decides she's a good candidate. Aqua texts her that she wants to meet tonight. Arriving at the appointed place, the blonde asks her to join the group. Kano starts to think about the offer. She wants to refuse, but Aquamarine asks her and she agrees. During the conversation between the two girls, the shorter one asks if the guy has any new offers and she tells and shows her about the dating show. They are surprised by his acting on camera. The crimson-eyed one is worried that on such shows the actors can really get a relationship. As it turns out for the blonde man, such filming is hell. But he's only doing it because he wants to get information about AI from Kaburaji. He goes on to explain how such programs work. There's no script, but there is directing. On the set, the blue-eyed man is chatting with a girl, as it turns out that because of a person in her agency who takes all the offers for herself, her schedule is empty, and she hasn't been in a relationship. She asks Aqua if he's interested in romance. The one replies that of course he is, but he still hasn't recovered from a past love. Also, the girl tells him that the couple from last season kissed and she would maybe kiss him too. That's how it works here. At home Ruby, for she is his, chooses who he will date. She chooses this particular girl Sumiyuki. The next day in the blonde's class, it turns out that everyone she knows has some kind of job today, even her brother has one. And she's still out of work. She chats about all this with Arima. They have no experience, so Miyako offers to help them. They need to gain popularity through the internet. They get a man named Peony, who knows all the tricks of the trade, to help them. They record a video with him for promotion.